Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, alongside Michael Bullock. And yes, guys, I'm still coming off the high, off the World Series championship win of the Atlanta Braves from the night before. However, we will get into more of a focused show tonight. We got NXT 2.0. We got AEW Dynamite, and we will do it right here, right now. So, gentlemen, let's get going. We started off with, well, the women that now run NXT, Toxic Attraction, JC Jane, um, JC Jane, and of course, Gigi Dolan, the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, but more importantly, Mandy Rose, the new NXT Women's Champion. They all cut in a promo, interrupted by the genius in the sky, Io Shirai, and then a beatdown brought out, but that also made another team come out. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter both ran out to make the save on and guys, it opens the door for a number of possibilities, but more importantly, Anthony, not really the greatest promo by the women's champion. Mandy, I know you're going to disagree with my thoughts on that because I know how much you love her. But I will say this. I do not mind an Io Shirai versus Mandy Rose just as much as I do not mind seeing JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. It looks like they might have just ran into Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. And let me tell you, a lot of NXT fans, even before this 2.0 thing started, a lot of fans were yelling for these two women to get a shot at the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. The minute these belts were brought to life, a lot of people were looking at these two as possibly future champions of the division. But it's yours.
This was a perfectly fine promo opener. Mandy Rose talked up her crew and set the stage for her next challenger. Mandy Rose is going to massively benefit from working with Io Shirai, one of the best women's wrestlers on the roster. The genius of the sky is set in NXT, so she could take the loss to build up the champion. Toxic Attraction was immediately embarrassed by a makeshift trio, which seems counterproductive. Wade Barrett made the comparison to the Bloodline, but even when Roman Reigns and the Usos are set running, they look dangerous. Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane just look scared by the first people to get in their way. Shirai and Rose, that will be great. And Carter and Catanzaro, MF has been preaching about them for weeks and months at a time, and it looks like they could be the first challengers for Dolan and Jane for those women's tag team titles. That's a match I would get behind, absolutely. So there isn't much more for me to say on this. So perfectly fine opening segment here, no doubt about it. And not much more to say. Michael Bullock, looks like your new women's champion has her first challenger in the eyes of someone who's a former champion in her own right and held that title for over 300 days when she did.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like Io Shirai could be that first challenger for Mandy Rose. I mean, it was a fine promo. Basically, hearing the fans basically saying you deserve it, but she basically shot down on the fans saying, I didn't need your support. You had your chance to get on the bandwagon. Well, guess what? Get off that damn bandwagon because you had your chance and you blew it. So I don't need your damn support. And I'm the baddest bitch on this planet. So, okay, Mandy Rose, tell us how you really feel. Woo. Man, oh man. I mean, and obviously first Gigi Dolan and JC Jane basically with a 2-on-1 attack of Zoe Stark, and then that's when Io Shirai came out. And obviously the women's tag team champs come out to help, but Casey Canizaro and Caden Carter basically even the odds here. So yeah, and I'm also down with a Caden Carter and Casey Canizaro against the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. But we'll wait and see how it all plays out. So let's move on, Fletch.
Unfortunately, guys, we got a lot of cutouts here, so we're going to start it off with Dakota Kai versus Cora Jade. Dakota Kai wins the match in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Then followed that by Exxon Quinn versus Robert Stone. Exxon Quinn wins in about 48 seconds. Then it leads us to a match that we can definitely get into. It was Legado del Fantasma. They went up against Kyle O'Reilly and with Von Wagner. Legado del Fantasma. Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza wins the match in 11 minutes even. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for me. Whoop, I went past it a little bit. Oh, all right, I got it now. This was a smartly booked tag team match that showcased the talent of Legado del Fantasma as a team. Wilde and Mendoza dominated and continued to cut off the less experienced tag team. While Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner are more likely to dethrone Imperium down the road, it does not make sense for the developing team to defeat one of NXT's best established alliances. Mendoza and Wilde cannot lose momentum for the sake of a new team. It'll be fun to see how the face team can recover from this moment. It is far more interesting to watch a tag team that does not immediately click. So, but this was a fun match, though. Great action here. One of the fights of the night, one of the few bright spots of this show. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3.5 stars for me. I mean, this was a fine match here. I mean, what a win here for Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, and you know, guys, I mean, I came across something. It was a dirt sheet, and they say, I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, his contract is up after next month, so I don't know. I mean, and with the way they're booking him right now, Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, we thought somewhere down the line he would get a future shot at the title, but ever since this new NXT 2.0 and Triple H being ousted from it, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So if the way things are going, I think Kyle O'Reilly could be on his way out. I don't know what you guys think of it, but that's just my personal opinion. So nothing else to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no, this was a solid match. 3.5 stars. I'm with Anthony on this one, and I'm with you guys. Look, Legado del Fantasma was one of the most dominating forces in NXT, and I'm so glad that even though this is NXT 2.0, they're still keeping them relevant. They're still keeping them strong. Like you said, Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly probably will be a major threat for the tag team titles, but they're still growing. They still got to learn. So there's that growing pains. They're going to have their moments. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But I thought they did a really good job. Good thing of storytelling with this outcome. No doubt about it. Next up we had was Braun Breaker going up against Andre Chase. Braun Breaker wins the match in minute 42. We'll bypass that. Then we had Solo versus Jet. And Solo wins in a minute and 30. There's really nothing more on that one. Boa versus Grayson Waller. Boa wins in about 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Leads us to basically a promo segment by Tommaso Ciampa. Then it led us to the main event of the evening. It was Dexter Loomis and Johnny Gargano versus NXT North American Champion Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Williams and Hayes wins the match. 12 minutes, 29 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event of the evening.
I'll give this about another 3.5 stars for this main event here. I mean, I thought it was a good main event here, but I don't know if you noticed, guys. As Johnny Gargano was coming out, there was a little stare down with him and Tommaso Ciampa. Interesting with that, and we all know, and we know the history with these two, and could we be looking at the next challenger for the NXT Championship? I mean, it could be a possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But all in all, solid main event here, so 3.5 stars. Fletch, it's yours.
You absolutely thought what I was thinking the same way too when you were talking about Gargano versus Ciampa. Even though I think they said that was it, this was going to be the last time that they were going to do it. But you know, in professional wrestling, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's truly the end. If they do Gargano versus Ciampa, look out. I mean, you want to talk about one of the greatest rivalries in NXT history? We run this baby back one more time? Yes, please. I would take that in a heartbeat. You know what, NXT, shut up and take my money if you do that. I'm just saying it. So, yeah, that was an interesting part. But the main event was actually a good match. Carmelo Hayes comes out with a big win. More than anything else, yes, it was by various means. I don't mind it. I think it's going to be good and everything else. We just got to wait and see how this plays out. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid main event, 3.5 stars. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
3 3/4 to 4 stars. This was easily the best action of the night, unsurprisingly. In particular, Johnny Wrestling and Carmelo Hayes have serious chemistry. That championship clash to come will be special. While Hayes survived with the win, the feud is clearly far from over. Dexter Loomis remains a delightful character performer in every aspect. Hopefully there is an end goal with him that goes beyond giving Gargano a new story to tell. Trick Williams has plenty of time to grow, but he was clearly the odd man out in this contest. He was just trying to keep up at times. He played his role well enough to set up the biggest moments from the other men involved. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. This was the fight of the night for me. So not much more to say. MF, let's get to our overall review for what ended up being a back to reality edition of 2.0 after that great Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, Halloween Havoc absolutely delivered. It was almost NXT. It was back in the old school NXT days. That's what it felt like. Unfortunately, this time around, this was not even close to 5 out of 10. Maybe 4 out of 10, 4.5. Because there was too many cutout matches. Like, think about this. There was only 3 quality matches this whole night. And that was it, guys. And I just feel like they really, I don't know what it is. I just felt like, now I know they want to turn it into a developmental again. They're not, basically the days of them having it as the third brand is dead. It's gone as we know it. Now it's back to a minor league system, and basically you get propelled to the big roster, but it just does not work. It don't work at all. It is definitely a major letdown, to say the very least, and that was it. It stinks. Sorry, Bullock, I know how much you love NXT, but no, brother. This one was no bueno in my eyes. 4 to 4.5. That's all I can give it. I think I'm being really generous here because I don't know. I got a feeling Anthony's going to be a little more harsher here. So, Florio, it's yours.
No, I'm gonna meet you right there, MF. Channel the infamous Bret Hart not impressed meme from the old Mean Gene Okerlund site. 4 out of 10 for me. Two great matches. I mean, those two matches saved it from being even worse. And I also enjoyed the opening segment with Mandy Rose and them. But other than that, MF is absolutely right. I mean, everything he said is spot on. I mean, the old formula was working great. Why couldn't we have just stuck with that? Why do we have to switch it up to this? I mean, I'm just glad we didn't have to sit through this live in Providence Monday night. Goodness gracious. I mean, yeah, we would have been in for a long night and not in a good way. But thankfully we had something to take our minds off of this show last night. I mean, I didn't really watch most of this show because, I think we were all invested last night, Game 6 of the World Series. And rightfully so, because it was MF's team, the Atlanta Braves, and them making history in the whole 9 yards. Watch the show from last night on my channel. I mean, I can honestly say that was one of the best shows we've ever done, and that was an honor and a blessing to be a part of. But this here, nah, honey. I'm right there with MF. 4 out of 10. I mean, Michael Bullock, I feel bad for you, man. I really do. I mean, a couple of years ago, NXT was, the must-see show. They dominated Raw and SmackDown at the Survivor Series 2 years ago. And now 2 years later, this show, let's be realistic, it is to WWE what Elevation and Dark are to AEW. Sorry.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you, Florio, on that one. And yeah, I mean, those days of the NXT are dead. They are done. They are buried. And that's what happens when you got somebody like Vince McDinkleberg running things over at NXT. I mean, the previous version was fine. They should have kept it the way it is, but nope. Vince McMahon said, "No, we're going to do it my way," and I am not liking this at all. It sucks. It stinks, and I don't like it one bit. So I'm sorry, guys. I think you're being too generous with the 4. To me, I'm sorry. I'm going to be more harsher on this one. 3.5 out of 10. I mean, yeah, I mean, you had 2, maybe 3 quality matches, but other than that, everything else just flat out sucked. I'm sorry. So I've really got nothing more to say. Let's just get to AEW Dynamite.
All right, guys. So we are indeed going to go right into it. AEW Dynamite. And we had ourselves a humdinger of a show, guys. We'll say that. We started it off with a non-title match. Kenny Omega with Michael Nakazawa versus Allen 5 Angels of the Dark Order. Kenny Omega wins the match in 8 minutes. Look, it was expected. I mean, that was nothing more than, this was Omega playing the role, staying on that, staying on the beat and showing why he is the AEW champion. But it also brought out the Hangman. Hangman Adam Page comes out to try to save his fellow Dark Order brother. Because the thing is, Allen 5 Angels is very tight, very close with the Hangman, Adam Page. Him and Page were really close, really tight. And on top of that, he was really the one that kind of, before Brody Lee Jr. or -1 and Amanda came in to save him, to save the Dark Order from literally almost imploding right before our very eyes. This was as good of a situation that you could have done, and it worked. It worked. So it was a solid segment. the match itself was maybe 2.5 stars because it was short. It was only 8 minutes, and Omega could really turn it up if he wanted to. But I kind of felt like it was there. It was a good match. It was a fun little sprint, but I could only give it 2.5 because I really felt like AEW could have given them more time. I mean, 15-minute match would have been amazing. 8 minutes, I kind of feel like you slighted us. At least I felt like you slighted us. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5, 2.75 of a star. Just like he did a year and a half ago, Alan Angels impressed against Kenny Omega, this time in a shorter and more compact match. The crowd was into the possibility of him possibly scoring the upset, and the resulting heat improved the overall quality of the contest. The outcome was what it should have been, obviously, but using the smallest member of the Dark Order as babyface in peril for Adam Hangman Page to come to the aid of was a nice touch. The crowd is overwhelmingly into the Hangman, and the moment, and I'm going to say this, I'm not going to be tired of saying this, and I know you all agree with me on this. The crowd overwhelmingly into Page, and the moment when he defeats Kenny Omega to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and he damn sure better, will be an unforgettable moment because of the emotion put forth by the AEW faithful. Period. And a statement and a quotation. 2.5, 2.75 of a star. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. I mean, it was a short match, but Kenny Omega, he doesn't care about a good. He just wanted to embarrass that member of the Dark Order there, and but yeah, I mean, Adam Hangman Page came out and tried to get some of Kenny Omega, but yeah, that didn't happen, and yeah, basically, I mean, yeah, we all know it's going to happen eventually. I mean, we all know that he's going to end up becoming the new AEW World Champion. I mean, that's not a prediction, guys. That's a spoiler. I mean, and I'll be quite honest here, guys. And if Adam Hangman Page does not win the title here, I just might go on the biggest phenom rant in a long time. But I don't think we have to worry about it because I think it's going to happen. So there's really nothing more to say. 2.5 stars. Fletch, let's move on.
With that said, we move on to the AAA World Tag Team titles on the line. FTR putting the titles on the line against Sumaya de Sol, who is actually, oh by the way, if you're wondering who the hell that is actually Kalisto, formerly of WWE. Kalisto and Aerostar. Aerostar, Anthony, you know him really well from Lucha Underground.
I sure do.
During those days, they fought against FTR for the AAA World Tag Team titles, the winners, in 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and still the AAA World Tag Team champions. FTR keeps the belts. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Another 2.5 to 2.75 star match. The brawl that saw Christian Cage and Jurassic Express get the best of the Super Click was fun. But the two teams are going to need something more than a basic trios match to bring this feud to an end, especially when the heels have already beaten their foes in a straight 6-man tag not all that long ago. Falls Count Anywhere or any other no DQ stipulation would be greatly appreciated, if only to give that presumptive full gear bout higher stakes and a sense of finality. This tag match was very obviously a clash of styles, with Aerostar appearing a step off at times, but FTR is so good that they can typically get an above-average match out of anyone. This was a nice taste of lucha and a test for the champions as they inevitably head to Mexico to defend those AAA tag team championships. And nice to see, I forgot how to say, oh, hold on. So what was his name? Samurai del Sol, the former Kalisto in the WWE, a former United States heavyweight champion and a former NXT tag team champion with Sin Cara as part of the Lucha Dragons. I'm glad to see him back in the ring again. And an Aerostar, yes, I know Aerostar very well. We're not talking about the minivan, folks. We're not talking about, the Ford minivan, from like 35 or so years ago. We're talking about the wrestler Aerostar. And I remember him very well from Lucha Underground. Maybe not as well as MF, because Lucha Underground, that was MF's thing. I sort of stumbled upon it, and I'm glad I did. You can relive Lucha Underground on Tubi, by the way. And I've already done a little bit of that a couple of times already. But anyways, all kidding aside, 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So there isn't much more to say. Bullock, we already know what FTR is capable of. We already know that. But great to see the old Kalisto, formerly of WWE, back in a wrestling ring. And this was your first look at Aerostar, formerly of Lucha Underground. How did you like seeing him in action?
Oh, he looked really good, Aerostar. I mean, just seeing him for the first time, and yeah, good to see Samurai del Sol, otherwise known as Kalisto. And believe me, Fletch, when I saw him and he started doing it, I was doing the whole lucha, lucha, lucha once again. I mean, it was like the whole WWE days when he was Kalisto, but FTR. I mean, what else would you expect from these guys? I would give it 2.5, but I'm gonna dock it a little bit, 2.25, because of the overbooked finish with them basically using the ropes to get the victory. So I'm gonna notch it down just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. So 2.25 stars. Fletch, it's yours.
I agree with that. I can see that. 2.25 stars. That's fine. It's all good. So we just move on right along. Then we had the promo with the Inner Circle. They got to call out American Top Team. They called out the 5 guys that they wanted. So obviously you're gonna have Ethan Page. You're gonna have Scorpio Sky. Those two will obviously be a part of the team. Jake Hager selected Junior Dos Santos. He goes after Chicano, but then Rips Chicano says, well, remember, he lost the fight in 71 seconds. I was like, all right, I remember that fight. And yeah, he did lose in 71 seconds. He was kind of out of the I guess you could say whatever you want to say about that. Of course, Santana selects Andre Ovaleski. No big surprise there. Those 2 guys are big mainstays in MMA. So obviously those 2 are going to get selected. So those are the 4. There was only 1 guy left. And well, I'm thinking, oh, all right, maybe Masvidal. No, Masvidal's got to fight. They were trying to push for, Paige Vanzant's husband to fight the match. And Jericho's like, you know what? Nah, I don't want him. And, Paige called out, say, hey, I'll take you guys on. I'll kick your asses 5-on-1. I'll do a Survivor Series style. I'll go 5-on-1 and beat you all. And then Jericho went not so PG on that. I'm not going there. That was very, very, very wrong what he did. And I know Anthony Floyd was probably hopping mad at Jericho for the comments he made about Paige Vanzant. That was not cool at all. But the final member for American Top Team to be chosen, much to the delight of Michael Bullock, much to the delight of Anthony Florio, and I think this guy deserves to get his ass kicked. Dan Lambert is number 5 in the match.
I think we need to put a tagline on the ticket and say, "See an idiot get pounded."
Yeah. Well,
See a stupid idiot muttonhead get his ass kicked.
or as Jericho kind of quietly phrased it, and I'm going to use his quote, so forgive me for what I'm about to say. A fat-faced dipshit. That's Jericho's words, not mine. I'm just quoting. Who leads off on this moment? You know what? I'm gonna open form this because we don't really need to do a serious review here. So open form. Anybody want to get their hands on it? Go.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Paige Vanzant is a star, and AEW should be looking to do whatever it can to get her under contract because she has the presence and confidence needed to stand out in professional wrestling. Any in-ring ability would come with training, and this was a lot of the reviews I'm reading didn't really particularly enjoy this segment. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was the typical banter, and it's going to be the Inner Circle against the Men of the Year, Junior Dos Santos, Andre Orlovsky, and Dan Lambert, and I've said it on this program many times. The way I feel about Dan Lambert is the exact same way Michael Bullock feels about Don Callis. I mean, this is just someone that we so rightfully and so desperately want to see get a comeuppance here, and I'm hopeful that will happen. I mean, Minneapolis street fight, I'm sure Lambert's going to be doing a lot of running and hiding and all this good stuff. But I think eventually he's going to get his. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up taking the damn fall, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because I got the Inner Circle winning this match. That's my early projection. And we'll get into we'll do the preview of this next Friday night on the Cerebral Smack Talk. But anyways, fine segment for what it was. I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest with you. But and yes, now I wasn't quite hopping mad, but I was a little disappointed in Jericho with those snide comments he made about Paige Vanzant. Because yes, it is no secret. I know she's a married woman, but I don't care. Every time I see that beautiful dame, I get the heart eye emoji instantly. I get the hearts in my eyes, no doubt about that. Just like MF the other night, when he saw Queen Zelina Vega in person at the Dunk as part of Monday Night Raw when we went to that the other night. But that's the exact same way I felt about Paige Vanzant. So, and I felt that way about her ever since I first laid eyes on that one. So she is beautiful, let me tell you. So.
Yeah, beautiful at taking selfies on Instagram. I mean, she says she's a tough girl and she does that stuff. Please.
Hey now. That's all there is to say on that. So with that being said, fine segment for what it was. But Bullock, I mean, the best part of all of this is we're going to get, I mean, I've endured this loudmouth before. I mean, he was pulling this same BS in Impact Wrestling with maybe not quite the same guys, but he was promoting this American top team nonsense. Bobby Lashley was a part of that, and King Mo and all that, but
he does it in MLW too, Florio. So trust me, it is.
That's why I don't watch MLW.
I'm gonna say it. MLW, Impact, AEW. We've all felt the wrath of Dan Lambert, and we all feel the same way. This little bleep deserves to get his butt kicked.
Oh, yeah, my brother, testify. And Michael Bullock, my brother, testify.
Yeah, that fat-faced dipshit is going to get what's coming to him. I mean, yeah, he thought he could get one up on the Inner Circle, and yeah, his own plan it backfired in his own face, and it made him look like a stupid idiot muttonhead. And the Inner Circle chose him, and he tried to weasel his way out of it. But obviously that didn't work. So all I can say is this little dipshit is gonna get what's coming to him, and I'll say it. I'm gonna enjoy every second of it. So screw you, Dan Lambert. You're gonna get what's coming to you, you piece of crap.
All right, all right. Well done, guys. Next up we had was Jamie Hayter versus Anna Jay. This was in the TBS tournament. As you guys know, the TBS title will be presented on the first Dynamite when they move to TBS this January, and the TBS title will be presented. This will be their secondary title in AEW for the women. Of course, the TNT title has become a staple for the men. The TBS title will be a staple for the women. This will be their version of the television title, as we would say. But it was Anna Jay of the Dark Order versus Jamie Hayter. Of course, she had Rebel and the AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And it was indeed Jamie Hayter knocking out Anna Jay. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
1.5 stars is my rating for this match. I mean, I was expecting more, but to be quite honest, guys, it did feel more like a 3-on-1 handicap match because you had a little bit of interference from Rebel and Dr. Britt Baker. I mean, I thought, guys, and I'm going to be openly honest, I thought this was going to be the time where Anna Jay, I mean, gets that little push. I mean, because I think she could have gotten that. She would have been a good representative of the TBS title, but no, Rebel and Dr. Britt Baker made sure that didn't happen. That Jamie Hayter went on, and they thought they were going to get one up on her, but Ty Conti and Jamie Hayter's next opponent, Thunder Rosa, came in to make the save. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
It probably makes more sense that Jamie Hayter goes over because of the fact that it is Thunder Rosa in the next round. But still, Anna Jay is so much better. Why? I am not happy with this decision. I am not happy that Anna Jay is out.
I'm not happy either.
No, and I think you know what? I never ever call out AEW booking because 9 times out of 10 they get it right. 9 times out of 10 they book the right match and the right outcome. This makes no sense whatsoever for me, and I am not happy with this outcome. Yes, it was an fight. I can only give it maybe 1.5 to 2, but just the mere fact, and I mean, if you're going by the bracket, okay, I get it, but unless you're going for the face versus heel dynamic, okay, fine, but I don't know. I got a funny feeling about that match. And Thunder Rosa is definitely a major player. She got her buy into it because of the fact of her record and the body of work. So she easily got through to the quarterfinal. But man, why? I don't understand it. I really feel like Anna Jay would have shined in this tournament. And I don't get why she's out in this round of the tournament. This really, really it just bugs me right now. I'm bugged. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, too much of this occurred. Too much of this match occurred during the commercial break. Sure, there is the picture-in-picture, but the fact that things wrapped up so quickly coming out of the timeout really hurt the significance of this one. Considering it was a title tournament match, that is a major disappointment. Jamie Hayter winning and setting up a match with Thunder Rosa was a surprise. given the screen time allotted to Anna Jay in recent weeks, that match in the next round of the tournament should be an improvement over this one if given time. The post-match was fine, but as fun as it has been to watch Tay Conti's evolution in recent months, it has never once felt like she could actually dethrone Dr. Britt Baker at Full Gear. Nothing here changed that sentiment. So I have my doubts about Conti here. I mean, I would love to see her get it because I know how much MF loves her, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not convinced yet.
I got a weird like going into it. If you would have told me this a few months ago, I would have said like easily Tay wins. But with what Britt Baker's doing, but not only that, but now you also got to worry about Rebel and with probably Jamie Hayter. I think that's going to be too much of a uphill climb for Tay. Right now, I don't see her winning the title at Full Gear. I don't.
Same here. I don't see her winning.
And you know I love Tay.
Yep.
You know I love this girl. She is amazing. But I just don't see it. I would love to see it, something that will build me up, but I don't see it. I don't see it, guys.
Yeah, and I want to make something crystal clear when it comes to Anna Jay. I mean, when she came back from her injury, I mean, I was hoping that maybe she would get some kind of a push, but I think all I can say is now, guys, I think that's over. It is done. I mean, I just don't know what to make of it now. I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion.
So as far as this goes, I got to give this about 2 to 2.25 stars for the effort. So I would probably go as far as to maybe call this the worst fight of the night, to be honest with you. So not much more to say. Bullock, your thoughts on the match?
I already did, but like I said,
okay.
But like I said, when Anna Jay came back from her injury, I thought maybe she would get a push of some kind, maybe at the women's title or the TBS title. But I don't know. I just think, to me, her return to this point, and this is just how I feel, it's been more of a letdown.
Yeah, it has. It has. No doubt about it. So next up we had was a highly anticipated match. Andrade El Idolo versus Cody Rhodes, 1-on-1. Andrade El Idolo wins the match in 11 minutes even, thanks to the assist of FTR. They laid out Cody with the AAA World Tag Team titles, and that led to Andrade winning the match. Look, I don't understand how that played out. I don't understand what, it's fine. It was a good match. I don't think you needed to do the overbooked finish, but why? Why is it every time if Cody ever loses a match, other than the destroyment that he suffered by Mr. Brody Lee, God rest his soul, and that fight against Malachi Black that he got absolutely destroyed, why is it that almost 99% of the time that if he ever loses a match, it has to be by various means? Why does it have to be a cheat moment? Why does it have to be kind of a screwy finish? Only 2 times already in AEW where Cody lost clean and got taken out bad. I don't get it. I do not get it. It doesn't help. I mean, what type of heat do you get from that outcome? I don't think you get much. There's no benefit for Andrade. This was a big win for Andrade. He beat Cody Rhodes, but it was from cheating. How does that elevate Andrade? It doesn't. It was a great match. It's a 3.5-star fight, but Anthony Florio, this outcome and the way that he won it, that's not going to help Andrade. It doesn't help him at all.
No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. So, however, this to me was the fight of the night for me. Even with all this, 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. The match was very good, as many probably expected it to be. The throwbacks to Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair were excellent and made sense given who the competitors are and who their extended families are. Andrade going over was the absolute right call. The fans, more divided than they have been for Cody in recent weeks, would have completely rejected the outcome otherwise. Andrade El Idolo doesn't have the connection with AEW fans that he needs to excel at the next level. He needs quality wins against guys like Rhodes, even if it comes via underhanded methods, to help build his credibility and legitimacy. He got one here and built his heel presence as a result. As a businessman willing to shell out money to anyone willing to help him get what he wants, he has potential, like a modern-day million-dollar man, Teddy DiBiase, if you will. So, and then the Lucha Bros and FTR had a little post-match. That's going to be awesome, and that was a nice bit of business after the match to hype their Full Gear title bout. But what really did it for me, the one thing during the post-match that really made me mark out like a crazy man, MF, you know where I'm going with this. Arn and Telly. Arn Anderson and Telly Blanchard getting in each other's
looked like they were going to throw. They looked like they were going to throw, too.
Admit it, you were marking out just as much as I was.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, no, this is not going down.
But I did the double four horsemen salute on that one because I was freaking out. I was like, when I saw where Arn was, I was like, oh, come on, Arn, get in there, get after Telly. I mean, I want to see it. And then when they, even though it was very brief, seeing those
he pushed him from behind too, which is not something Arn Anderson normally does. He never pushes people from behind. Normally, if he pushes you straight up.
Maybe he felt it was the only way he could get Telly's attention here. And
well, he definitely did.
But man, Arn and Telly, I mean, for all of you Four Horsemen fans like the three of us, I mean, yeah, those memories instantly conjured up when they were in the Four Horsemen. Of course, the Brain Busters in WWF and the whole 9 yards. It was so awesome to see them, going at it, even though it was very short, but whatever. That was a mark that to me was worth more than anything else. So, but a great match. I could probably go as far as to call this the fight of the night. 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock. When we heard that this match was going down, we knew it was going to be good. And yes, it was a screwy finish, but who the hell cares? This match was too damn good.
Yeah. What did you just give it?
I gave it 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. What says you?
Yeah, I'll give it 3.5. I can't give it the 3.25 because of that screwy finish there. So, but yeah, I mean, to me, this really doesn't help Andrade, I should say, because I mean, it's not like he needs any help. I mean, it really doesn't get him anywhere. I mean, if he beaten Cody cleanly, okay, that's a different story, but all in all, it was still a good match, so nothing else to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Main event of AEW Dynamite. Now, this got very interesting. Okay, so, as many of you guys know, Jon Moxley has left AEW to go to an alcohol rehab center. This was broken by Derek Ferreira. This went down on Tuesday night, immediately, right around the same time we were doing the World Series, and this had broken out. News had broken. This was from Tony Khan himself from AEW, saying that he had left, that he went to an alcohol rehab center, and that they were giving him full support and everything else. Thus, that means he's out of AEW for a little while and out of the TNT of the world title tournament. Now we had a replacement that needed to be done. So Orange Cassidy was not going to get a bye and was going to have to earn his way into it, but he had to run into Miro. So, with that said, Miro wins the match, 7 minutes and 25 seconds. He will now face Bryan Danielson at Full Gear, where the winner becomes the new number one contender for the AEW World Title. This was kind of, you had a whole bunch of lemons. You had to make some lemonade out of it. And I kind of feel like they kind of did what I thought was probably Anthony Floyo, the best possible solution that you can do in this situation. As we turn it to you, Miro now advances to the final. He will fight Bryan Danielson, formerly Daniel Bryan of WWE, in the last match to determine who's going to be the new number one contender for the AEW World Title.
Solid 3 stars for this. This was exactly what it needed to be. Miro all but demolished Orange Cassidy, who showed that great babyface fire by hitting offense in spurts, but failing to string anything together to really knock off his opponent. In the end, it was the driven and determined Miro who earned the win and set up a date with Bryan Danielson at Full Gear. That match should be extraordinary. Miro has been his best in AEW, while Danielson is the best wrestler in the world. Those two fighting for a coveted World Heavyweight title opportunity in front of a hot crowd in Minneapolis at the Target Center should be magical. That is, if Miro can hang with Bryan in what will be the greatest test of his in-ring abilities to date. This is a match that I had wanted to see in the WWE, but never really came to fruition. Well, guess what? We're getting it now, and I cannot wait to see it. I would have loved to have seen Bryan and Moxley, but unfortunately, the situation with Mox, unfortunately, came about, and it's a damn shame that it happened. But all of us here, we wish Jon Moxley the absolute best as he enters this very difficult chapter of his life, and hopefully it'll go smooth. Hopefully it'll be short-term, temporary, and we'll get him back there in AEW very soon. So we're thinking of you, Mox. That's all there is to it. So do what you got to do, take care of your business, and we'll go from there. But if it couldn't be Mox, I'm glad it was Miro. I mean, this is a match I've been wanting to see since their WWE days, and we're finally going to get it here. So I've been wanting to see these two go one-on-one for the longest time, and I'm finally going to get my wish. I wish the circumstances could have been better, but still, Danielson and Miro, that's got potential to overshadow the Hangman and Kenny Omega, because we know that match is going to steal the damn show. But if there's one that can come very close to overshadowing them, I believe this is the match to do it. So, solid 3 stars for this effort. So, Michael Bullock, for the first time ever, we're going to see Danielson and Miro one-on-one. And the winner will be the next. Will most certainly be the first challenger for either the Hangman or Kenny Omega for the AEW World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping we can get this in WWE, but at least we're getting this in AEW. So, it could have been better, but I'll give it about 2.5 for the effort here. I mean, but Miro was just too much for Orange Cassidy. I mean, as soon as I heard it was Miro, I'm like, Miro's definitely going to go over. So, yeah. So, and of course, regarding the whole Jon Moxley situation, I mean, I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully he gets the help that he needs. And look, you got a lot of great support, especially from your wife Renee Paquette, and of course your beautiful child. So get well, my friend, and hopefully we'll see you back in the ring soon. So nothing else to say, Fletch. It's yours.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. My thoughts and prayers are with Jon Moxley and the family right about now. Renee, as you say, and just the fans, the Mox fans out from around the world. This was a shocking announcement that he made, and it really hurt. It really hurt. I think we all kind of felt bad. We're all like, "Wow, did that just really happen?" But it did, and now we're gonna have to see how it plays out. And Miro benefits. Miro gets a major benefit. He's now the man. He's one win away from possibly fighting for the AEW World Title. Golden opportunity for Miro. He's going up against a very good wrestler in Bryan Danielson. Full Gear is going to be an amazing show, and now you just added that match. Whoa! It's going to be a hell of a fight, no doubt about it. So, 2.5 to 3, no doubts. And now we go into the overall review. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Well, I can say this was definitely better than of course, obviously NXT 2.0. I mean, I'll give this about a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, you had a lot of good quality matches, but there were some parts of the matches, especially the endings, that were a little questionable. But all in all, this was still a good show. 7.5. So, Fletch, it's yours.
7.5, no doubt about it. 7.5 out of 10 for you as well. It's amazing. It was awesome. Good show, solid show, great event. Better than NXT 2.0 by a country mile. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, it's yours, man.
What was that number again?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Yeah, 7.5 for me. I mean, it wasn't a blowaway show by any means, but for me, Andrade and Cody was the fight of the night. The matches were solid to good. I can't really say anything was overly great except for that Andrade and Cody match. And that's pretty much all there is to say on that. It was, like I said, solid, but I'm not going to say it was overly spectacular like we know this company is capable of. So hopefully next week, with next week being the go-home show to Full Gear, hopefully that will that'll pick up, and then we'll get to Full Gear, and we already know Full Gear is gonna be a kick-ass show, like MF said. So he's right. So 7.5 for me. So did Bullock go, or oh yeah, I think Bullock started it, right?
Sorry, I was going to say Bullock led off.
Yep, so, I thought so. All right.
So yeah.
So there isn't much more to say except Champ, take it home.
All right. Nothing more to say. Thank you so much, as you guys know. And this was an amazing evening. Thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Michael Bullock, as always. Tomorrow night, College Football Thursday. So we got ourselves the first week of the college football playoff rankings have dropped. We got some great matches. And we might have to take issue with this rankings. We were a little, I think by saying a little annoyed is an understatement. Quite a few people got really angry with this first draw, but we'll get into it. We'll definitely get into it. 10:30 Eastern, as always. So for Anthony Floyo, from Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for College Football Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.